can't complain about this life. If we haven't met, this is Eric Dowds here. I'm an adventure filmmaker, and this is Dark Roast, the bike that I have traveled 15,000 miles with around the world, bike touring and capturing the stories of the people that we meet in a series called Miles of Portraits. And if you've been following along recently, you know I just got back from India, where I was touring for 2 months, spent 4 months in lockdown, and now I'm here with my family, my brother-in-law's family, my nephew. And today, as we ramp up and get ready for our Cycling with Summit, which is happening in September, I figured I'd dive into a few ways that you can use Ortlieb's frame bag in a bunch of different ways. And as someone that's self-supported and the filmmaker, I think there's really a beauty in how you can use the bike in so many different ways to just enjoy life. So with that, let's dive in.
You hold me when I'm feeling blue, and don't get me wrong, it's a lovely place.
Alright, if you dream of making films about your trips while you're on them, you realize one of the most important things is actually having access to your camera gear. And I've played around with a lot of setups. You'll see that I do have my Arkel handlebar bag up front, which is usually where my drone is. But a big issue I've always had is where to keep my tripod, because if it's on the back of your bike, if it's on the bottom of your pannier bags, it's just hard to access. And that is where I finally figured out this. So this is exactly how I kept my frame bag in India, which was nice. And so first, just having a small Joby Gorilla Pod, I've actually snapped these legs in half to shorten them all, and this is a small little adapter for your smartphone. I use this to capture time lapses. It's just really easy to set up, place somewhere. Also, when Annalisa and I are interviewing someone, to have a B angle, we just use a smartphone set up on this tripod and attach a mic to it, and then all of a sudden we have the Nikon capturing the main angle and then a smartphone capturing the side angle. So that's handy to throw in there. Then what was new on Miles of Portraits India was this 70-300 lens for wildlife photography, which I've talked about. But when you spot an animal or you see a situation like the ferry going across here and you want to capture it, it's nice to be able to know where your lens is and dig it up quickly. So having it handy right there is really nice. And so this was a blast to have on the trip. And then this was definitely what I was most happy about, was where to keep my travel tripod. It fits perfectly snug as a bug in a rug in my frame bag. And so this is just a travel tripod. If you are looking at getting your first tripod, which is a huge step up in capturing cinematic footage, I would recommend just getting the tallest possible tripod, meaning what is the maximum height it can record. Because if you're trying to capture an interview of someone, it's really important to be eye level to them if they're standing. And so that's a really nice ability. And then you'll see up here on front I have the Peak Design clip, and so that actually goes onto my Ortlieb backpack. And so at the end of the Miles of Portraits trip, Annalisa left at the end of February. I gave her my back panniers and then actually put all my stuff in just the largest Ortlieb A-Track backpack. And it wasn't perfect, but it was definitely really nice to have fewer bags while I was traveling, have everything that you value being waterproof and accessible. And so that is overall what I keep in my Filmmaker frame bag setup. Alright, I'm here in Charlotte, Vermont, which is south of Burlington, one of the main cities here, and there's just a beautiful bike network. And so you might be looking to get out in nature and just want to do something a bit more casual, a 15-mile ride, a 20, 30-mile ride. And so your attire itself might look different. So I like wearing a long sleeve hooded shirt when going out on rides. I actually wear this a ton on my bike touring trips. And then what's nice is Pearl Izumi has been designing more and more athleisure clothes, so you can commute or ride your bike to and back from a friend's house. And all of their gear, I believe, always has a reflective strip, and so I always like wearing that just to increase your safety as you're going around. But in terms of what I keep in my frame bag, it looks completely different than my filmmaking setup and is definitely more casual. So any type of snack, 2 bananas. I really actually like to carry apples, especially small apples, and doesn't lead to a smashed banana absolutely everywhere, which every biker, hiker, mom person can tell you all about. This is my Matador quick drying towel. Believe it or not, this is my shower towel on all of my trips. I'll try to grab this together. You got your smartphone, a charger for it, and then if I was going on a ride, it would probably be smaller than this. This is the Anker external battery charger. It's huge, it's got 2 ports, but this is how I charge my camera batteries as well when I'm traveling around. But I use my phone to take photos, to take videos. It also helps me manage my type 1 diabetes, and so it's really important to keep it charged. So that's why I always have an external battery pack with me. And then on a day trip, I'd also probably bring my tripod. I'd probably leave the travel tripod home, but still carrying a small tripod just so you can set up a photo of you and your friend, a video if you're making you riding by or just capturing that shot. And then this is my Frio case. It actually keeps my insulin cool. I usually throw a few other type 1 diabetes things in here, but because of the heat, you don't want your insulin or any sensitive medication getting warm. And so Frio is gel activated, so you don't need ice. All you do is soak it in water, and then it keeps your medication cool for the day. And so I've been traveling with this for thousands of miles, and it's really been a true lifesaver on my trips. Every trip I learn how important having lip balm is, especially on the Miles of Portraits Southwest trip. When we dropped out of the mountains of California, all of a sudden we went from like a cool environment into the desert, and I just remember my face feeling so chapped, and being able to solve that is huge. So you will thank yourself for bringing this around. And then spoon knife combo, it's always pretty handy. So that's it. Depending how casual things are, you can fit your coffee mug if you're just riding to get coffee. And this is a solution that I actually don't know, but when you carry your frame bag, you will lose a water bottle space, and then this always rides a little bit to the side. So it doesn't hit my legs when I'm riding, but I have been trying to notice how people set up their frame bag with their water bottle set up. So it's just a good thing to know and keep in mind. As I find one more place to film, let me invite you to Cycling With, which is happening September 18th through 20th and is put on by Miles of Portraits and sponsored by Ortlieb. It is a celebration. You will come away inspired and reminded why you want to be riding a bike, why you are riding a bike, because we're bringing together this group of speakers who overcome adversities in life and represent a wide range of diversity in the biking space. So I've already connected with speakers who ride despite only having one leg, who are deaf, who ride because they're fat cyclists, depression, black girls who do bike, and what it reminds you of is how the bike, as Annalisa says, is the great equalizer, that people use it in their own way to get outside for their own reasons. So I invite you to check out the link below. If you sign up by September 3rd, you'll be entered into a special giveaway with some of our other outdoor brands who've signed on, and it'll just be an incredible weekend and this hope that we all need while managing and dealing with the pandemic. So check that out, and let's dive into that final topic. Lockdowns are easing all across the world. Well, sometimes they're actually getting more strict, but we're easing. You might actually be ready to see a friend, hang out with some family in a park, and tons of people are realizing that the bike is the way to do that. Just have fresh air, hang out, and you want to bring some drinks for everyone. So the frame bag, that's what's awesome, is you can throw so much in here. And from India, I am super excited about this. This is the Southern Drip Filter Coffee Maker, which is famous in India. This is how they make coffee day in, day out. It makes this really strong concentrate. And so I picked this up. This is the smallest size they had, realizing this is the new perfect way to bring coffee as I go on bike touring trips. But if I visit a friend's house, they can just have hot water. You can stop by a gas station. There's actually a lot of easy ways to get hot water as you bike around. So this is now part of the arsenal. You got coffee for your friends. And then, Drew and Haley here have been crushing kombucha. So you bring a can or two of that. And then, you can't visit Vermont without grabbing some beer. This is a Green State Lager. 16-ounce can, and not one, but two. So it can be a friend, it could be someone you're meeting on a Zoom date. So with that, cheers everyone. And
It's a brand new day. 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 There's a secret through the thunder. There's a storm, but you're